NKC Art. Okay, in order to make your close-up dragon eye, open up a new page and zoom out so you can see all of the edges of your paper. Go up to your colors and choose black, and then go over to your technical pen on the side and choose about maybe a 6, 7, even 8, around there would work. Keep this opacity up to 100%. And then what you're going to do is, I like to zoom in just a little bit, and you're going to draw kind of a large eye shape, kind of like a pointed oval on each side. And then make sure your lines connect so that next week when we fill this in color, your color doesn't just leak out all over your paper. Inside the eye, I'm going to go ahead and put my eyeball, and then I'm going to draw like a little part of his pupil, almost like a cat eye looking pupil in the inside. And then maybe just some little glare marks inside of his eyeball. And then like the white part of his eye, inside of it, I'm just going to put these 2 lines. It's like a skin fold, kind of like just the corners of his eyes. And around the outside of the eye shape, I'm going to start adding scales. It's basically just rounded off squares. You could even use, if you'd rather have the kind of scales that are more arch-shaped, almost like a rainbow, you can use those as well. On this one, I like to use just the rounded off square shapes and kind of follow them around. And then you're just going to add different layers of these square shaped scales, or whatever kind of scales you use. So you just go up to the next layer and start adding some around. You can kind of break up the layers a little bit by making some a little bit larger than the previous layer, or maybe just kind of a little bit more different shape to kind of break them up. I like to keep the one around my eyes a little bit smaller, and then kind of get bigger as I go to the outside. And notice how I just kind of follow around the eye shape, just building onto that shape so that it kind of has that almost oval, pointed oval look. I think on this line I'm going to make larger scales coming out from his eyes. Again, notice how I'm just following around the eye shape, still making sure my lines are touching each time, because next week we will fill these in with color, and that will just help us out when we get to that point, if we've already fixed our cracks in our lines, like this. So I'm just going to keep going around and add these on. At one point I'm going to add some like horns coming up from his eyes. You can do that, you don't have to. So I think I'm going to do like a little, like a protector eyelid around it, like hard scales. So I'm just kind of drawing them like this. And then I think on top of this layer is where I'm going to put some like little horns that are coming out from his eyes. Let me go ahead and finish this layer around the bottom first. Again, making sure all of my lines are touching. Super. Okay, so now I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to add some little horns that stick up. When I color this, I think I'm just going to keep these horns like white, just so they look like bone standing out from his eye. And then I'm just going to go in and fill in the rest of his scales, probably a little bit larger as I get away from the eyeballs. But I think you kind of get the gist. Just make sure all your lines are touching, and then kind of fill it in all the way to the edges of the paper. And then once you're done, just save it in your gallery. You can submit a copy of your drawing to me on Canvas, and then save it in your gallery, because next week we're going to color these in and make them look even more awesome than they already are. So let me finish these last ones off, and then I'm going to save it to my gallery.